Well, political parties are reacting to former President Jacob Zuma being placed on medical parole. We know that Zuma had been under observation in a hospital outside of the Escort Correctional Facility. First, we were told it was routine. Well, we're here now. So let's chat a little bit more about this. I'm joined now by UDM leader Bantu Holomisa. Bantu Holomisa, thank you so much for your time this evening. So we understand the former head of state has been released on medical parole. What say you as the UDM?
The United Democratic Movement has noted the latest on the former president, and we are waiting to hear more reasons and conditions attached to his release. So far, the release is related to his health, and if it is in our statute books that a person can be given a medical parole, then I don't think we have a reason to doubt those professionals who recommended that Mr. Zuma, because of his ill health, and the authorities, that is the government, had decided that in light of that, then they are going to give him a parole. It cannot be the commissioner only who took that decision. So there's no doubt that a cabinet decision has been taken. In that score, the possibilities are also that a lot of things have been weighed in. Politics are involved in this. When we take decisions, the court decision was taken, and the politics did not interfere. Mr. President, or Mr. Zuma, was sentenced. He complied. He went to serve his sentence. Now, this is another phase. This is where the government now can take decisions based on the recommendations from the medical doctors. So this is one area which is very difficult to politicize.
Yeah, I mean, you're speaking about how it's a very difficult area to actually navigate. Let me ask you this. When you're speaking about even the political considerations that had to be made in this specific decision-making, keeping, in your opinion, the former president incarcerated for longer, would it have been, or would it had long-term political ramifications in the country for the ANC, as we know that we're going into local government elections, for the way in which the ruling party is perceived amongst its citizenship, which was divided when it came to the issue of the former head of state in the first place?
Both would have been considered by the cabinet or by the head of state on the advice of the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services. We know that you put it correctly. After Mr. Zuma was sentenced to service to jail, the country debated the issue, and the country was divided as to whether there was a need for him in the first instance to be charged at the highest court. So the jury is still out on that. But what I like about South Africa is that notwithstanding those doubts, the judicial decision, I mean the High Court decision was obeyed, and then Mr. Zuma also obeyed. He went to jail and served his sentence. Politically, for the ANC, yes, it will help them to lower tensions, especially in KZN, because there are people who made it clear that as long as their leader is not released, they might boycott even the election. So for the ANC, it's a relief politically.
You know, as you're speaking about this, this is also under the spectatorship of the entire South Africa. So we're watching this unfold. And as you're saying that the political considerations were made, especially in light of where the African National stands when it comes to KwaZulu-Natal, how are we to trust that this is not another Shabir Sheikh case where we saw that medical parole was granted, we understood that it was under certain conditions, then these media reports surface about a few months later and they show Shabir Sheikh playing golf. I mean, the last thing we want to do is see the former head of state playing golf even after this medical parole has been granted. So how much faith really should the Republic of South Africa and the people of South Africa trust in this process as it is unfolding?
Anyway, you trust the current government at your own peril. We have told you long time ago that there is no government here in the first instance. So if you talk about trust issues, don't talk about trust issues. These are South Africans and also the current government. Sorry. That's why we have been calling for an interim government to remove these people, because forget that they will ever self-correct themselves. Forget.
It's a bitter pill to swallow. Thank you very much for your honesty. UDM leader Bantu Holomisa, they're giving us a reaction to the former head of state being granted medical parole.